This is My Child Will Thrive, and I'm your host, Tara Hunkin, nutritional therapy practitioner, certified GAPS practitioner, restorative wellness practitioner, and mother. I'm thrilled to share with you the latest information, tips, resources, and tools to help you on the path to recovery for your child with ADHD, autism, sensory processing disorder, or learning disabilities. My own experiences with my daughter, combined with as much training as I can get my hands on, research I can dig into, and conferences I can attend, have helped me to develop systems and tools for parents like you who feel overwhelmed trying to help their children. So sit back as I share another great topic to help you on your journey. A quick disclaimer before we get started. My Child Will Thrive is not a substitute for working with a qualified healthcare practitioner. The information provided on this podcast is not intended to diagnose or treat your child. Please consult your healthcare practitioner before implementing any information or treatments that you have learned about on this podcast. There are many gifted, passionate, and knowledgeable practitioners with hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of study and clinical experience available to help guide you. Part of our goal is to give you the knowledge and tools you need to effectively advocate for your child so that you don't blindly implement each new treatment that comes along. No one knows your child better than you. No one knows your child's history like you do or can better judge what is normal or abnormal for your child. The greatest success in recovery comes from the parent being informed and asking the right questions and making the best decisions for their child in coordination with a team of qualified practitioners in different areas of specialty. Today's podcast is sponsored by the Autism, ADHD, and Sensory Processing Disorder Summit. In order to learn more about the summit and to sign up for free, please go to www.mychildwillthrive.com/summit. Hi, welcome back to the My Child Will Thrive podcast. I'm Tara Hunkin, and I am here to bring you today a snippet from an interview that I did with Brian Hoyer, a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and a certified building biologist, or geobiologist they're called. And Brian is going to talk to you today about what EMFs are, electromagnetic frequencies, why addressing EMFs exposure, especially in the bedroom, is essential for healing, how EMFs impact the gut lining and the blood-brain barrier, why EMFs in the bedroom can impact both sleep and healing, and how to protect your child from EMFs. And also, he's going to talk about why this type of intervention could be the key to unlocking your child's body ability to heal. So, although you're not getting the podcast doesn't have the full interview today, if you want to listen to the full interview, the members of the My Child Will Thrive Knowledge Vault have access to the full interview, as well as all the interviews, expert interviews and masterclasses that I've done over the many years that My Child Will Thrive has been in existence, and the Autism, ADHD, and Sensory Processing Disorder Summit. There are a lot of other things within the My Child Will Thrive Knowledge Vault. If that's something that interests you, please feel free to check it out at mychildwillthrive.com/knowledge vault. In the meantime, you can also sign up for the current version of the Autism, ADHD, and Sensory Processing Disorder Summit at mychildwillthrive.com/summit. And there are many other interviews in the current version of the summit and that you can access for free right away. And there's even another interview on this particular topic of EMFs by another expert speaker. So without further ado, please take a listen to my part of my interview with Brian Hoyer about how you can protect your child from EMFs and optimize their healing. So with that in mind, then let's talk about how to fix the bedroom. So what are the things that parents should be looking at in terms of the biggest stressors, or where do they start, and sort of how do you layer it on in terms of the perfect bedroom in the end?
Yeah, well, what I've found going around the country is that a lot of people have been exposed to, there's all kinds of different solutions for electromagnetic radiation that are out there. Some of them are completely bogus, and other ones might have something to them, but if there's ever one product that says it takes care of all of your electromagnetic radiation issues, it's bogus. Okay, just because the nature of it is that each type of electromagnetic radiation has a different solution. Okay, so we talked about electric fields. That's the measured in voltage that stimulates the muscle contraction. So you have all this wiring in the walls. How do you get rid of that voltage that's coming onto your body, creating this high body voltage that's stimulating your muscle contraction all day long and all night long? Well, in order to get rid of that, you have to ground it out. And so you have to put a grounded barrier between you and the electric field. Or alternatively, the cheaper solution is to turn off the breakers to the bedroom at night. Now, only about 20% of the time can you just turn off one breaker or two breakers and be at a good healing level. And only about 1 out of 3 times can you turn off even all the breakers to the whole house and be at a healing level. It'll drastically reduce it. It's a great first step. You might see results with it. But what I've found is in about 2 out of 3 homes, I can turn off the breakers to the entire house, and there's still a voltage issue coming in from where the main power is coming into the house, and that electric field is going on to the gutter and then wrapping around the house, getting into the bedroom somehow and causing a high body voltage. And I can trace the source to that with the different meters that I have, and we can fix that. So my ultimate solution for electric fields is to have this T98 shielding paint that GeoVital has. It's a conductive paint that's 20 times below the standard for 0 VOC in the United States. And it's made of graphite and carbon-based material that's conductive. So you put that and paint all the way around the bedroom, paint the ceiling, and then you have this grounding tape that goes around, and you ground it right to the ground of the electrical outlet as long as it's a good ground. So really you need someone to come there and test your home to make sure that this is the proper solution, because there can be other types of EMF that might not be able to shield against. If there's outside power line, then it's creating a magnetic field, which is a different type of EMF that's coming in, and that needs to be mitigated before you spend a bunch of money fixing something else. It might be that if it's something you can't fix, you might want to move. Mm-hmm. So you really have to have that assessment to know for sure what's going on. And when I go into a house, I have about $8,000 worth of equipment that I'm bringing in to test the person's home, and people can't afford to spend $8,000 just on equipment. Mm-hmm. You'd much rather spend that on your child or on your family and getting healthier. So get the assessment done. Let a professional come in and do this assessment, and you fix the electric fields. The nice thing about the paint is it also blocks the wireless from coming in. Oh. So you do one layer of the paint, do the grounding tape, and then you do a second layer of the paint that's actually required to get the wireless frequencies down enough to where you have it at a healing level.
And then that paint you can paint over, correct?
Yes. Yeah, because it's a black paint. A lot of people ask that question. They're like, oh, no, I have to paint black. How many layers is it going to take to go over that stuff, Yeah. And I'm just like, well, people do it. And you do this black paint. I always recommend to do a painting job beforehand with a no VOC acrylic paint, and then do because you don't want your expensive shielding paint to be sponging into the wall. You want a nice, consistent layer that's going to shield really well, so that you can have that healing effect, and it's going to perform the best possible to block the frequencies coming in from outside. So it takes about 2 layers of paint over top of the black paint to do whatever color you want. But yeah, you can paint over it. And then for the windows, we have this sheer fabric called the Nova fabric, and that actually blocks out all the wireless frequencies from coming in through the windows. Some people use them over their doors. People that need more portable solutions sometimes will make a canopy out of the Nova fabric, but it's basically a sheer fabric. It doesn't look like you're living at NASA in a spaceship. a lot of people kind of have that picture like, oh, if I have to EMF proof my room, I'm going to be wrapped in aluminum foil and have to wear a tinfoil hat. That's, the people that I get a lot of the solutions from are from Germany and Austria, and they really care about the way things look over there. Has to look beautiful, has to be beautifully made, has to be, has to look exactly the same as I would want it to be,
Yeah.
so.
Is it possible to just to not have to do the walls and just tent a child's bed? Is that sufficient?
It can be. We'd have, and I'm kind of working on some more portable solutions for people. And I think that the issue is that if you just have the canopy, it's blocking the wireless, but you're not taking care of the electric fields, unless you have a situation where you're a lucky person and you have wiring in the home that you've had tested, and we can have a good healing body voltage down with the breakers off. Mm-hmm. Then you can turn the breakers off to that room and put a canopy around the bed, and you're good to go. And that should be good. And sometimes you might need 2 layers of that material. Sometimes you just only need 1. Yeah. But it's definitely just like any protocol for your child is customized. Your home assessment is customized. And the really, really nice thing that I like to point out about shielding a bedroom from all of these types of stressors is that, I know because I have a nephew with autism. Sometimes it's hard to get him to eat what he's supposed to eat and to take the supplements he's supposed to take. And it's even hard with my own kids, and I know the challenges of parents with autism too. So this idea that I can just shield a bedroom and the child can sleep in there and get 8 hours of ancestral healing and detox and repair every single night without any hard challenges of getting the child to do it. They just basically have to go to bed. It's 100% compliance every night. You can feel good about getting this healing therapy in. Yeah,
and that is a huge component of working with these kids, is getting them to be compliant. And the great thing about this is that not only is it helping them, but it's also helping the rest of the family, because if they can get a good night's sleep, other members of the family can also get a good night's sleep. So it's a win-win for the whole family for sure. Beyond painting, or you can turn your breakers off if that works for you, and obviously you need to get someone to come in and assess. Unplugging things is something else that you've talked about as well. Can you talk about that, and also bed frames and some of the other things that contribute to that extending the voltage through the room?
Sure, yeah. So let's talk about the beds a little bit, because that's something that I see in a lot of different homes that I do assessments for. Is people have springs in their mattresses, they have metal bed frames or metal in the box springs. And basically I say that you shouldn't use metal there's basically 4 different reasons, and it has to do with each type of EMF stressor. So the first reason is that metal is an easy conduit for electricity and voltage to come through up to the body, and it actually will amplify your body voltage when you're surrounded by these electric fields, and then it easily travels up through the floor, through the springs and the metal bed frame, right to your body. So that's one reason. Another reason is that a lot of times, maybe 60, 70% of the time, these springs and metal bed frames are magnetized. So you can easily test this at your home. You can take a compass that you can just get from like the outdoor store, the sports store or whatever, and you put the compass on the bed and you can slide it right over the bed. I usually have my clipboard with me, so I put it on the clipboard. I slide it over the bed and I see if the needle moves. If the needle moves by more than 5 degrees, you know that there's magnetic fields on that bed. Another thing you can do is take it and kind of smash it down into the springs and see if it spins around or moves by 5 degrees. So, a lot of times these springs are magnetized, and it's noxious magnetic fields. It's not like a magnetic field therapy. It's like crazy different types of frequencies of these magnetic fields that you're exposed to. And sometimes they'll raise up like a foot off the bed. And so your child's sleeping within this magnetic field when the springs are magnetized. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 is that it also acts as an antenna for all the wireless radiation. And you can actually measure this with a meter. And if you put your meter on the springs, you'll see the wireless radiation is being attracted to these springs and causing your wireless micro voltage to come up. And so that's reason number 3. Reason number 4 is that with the geopathic stress, all this radiation that's coming up from the earth, there's underground water currents, there's fault lines that have a crack in the earth's crust that create a huge energy, and that comes up. And so the solution for a lot of these, and also the earth's magnetic field, it's not good to sleep on the intense lines. The reason that you don't want metal in your bed for that is that the solution for this is to put these mats that go underneath the bed, and in order for those to work, they're charged in a certain way where if they have metal above them, it basically makes them not function the way that they're supposed to. And so it's supposed to resonate with your body, and if there's metal above that, another conductive surface, then it basically changes the frequency that the mats are blocking out, and it causes it so the mats are not working properly. So there's 4 different reasons to get rid. You get rid of the metal in your springs, you get rid of the metal in your box springs, and you get rid of the metal in the bed frame too.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that GeoVital has, which is they have these non-toxic foam mattresses. They're very lightweight. They're not made of latex. They actually use carbonated water to burst the bubbles in the foam instead of the petrochemicals. And so they've made these beds for the very most sensitive people in their clinic. Over 200,000 patients over the last 35 years. They tested over 400 different mattresses, and then they came up with this material that's 90% of people are not reactive to. And so they have very few returns on this, and they're very comfortable beds, very lightweight, so they're not hard to move like a wool or a latex mattress. And I see, I've never had somebody return one. So that's another really good option. If you're looking for a good sleep option, a good mattress option, the GeoVital mattresses. TheraVital is a stretch effect mattress that they work to align the spine while you sleep. And then there's also the more customized version, which is they take your actual body measurements. But I wouldn't recommend that for kids because obviously they're growing. I'm buying new clothes every week for my 3 little girls, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's well, and the simple solution there is assuming you don't have a spring mattress, you can actually get them off the box spring and the metal frame right away, because it's just, you can throw the mattress on the floor until if you can afford to make other changes right away, but at least that's taken care of right away. What about unplugging things in the room? So if you can if you can't throw the breaker, is unplugging things and just getting rid of plugged in items in your child's room helpful?
Yes, definitely. I've seen voltage go down by as much as half by just unplugging things near the bed. Little night lights are not an issue, but anything with a cord in it is gonna be an issue. And if you do have a night light, make sure that it's a red or orange hue, because that's going to be disrupting your little one's melatonin at night, making it so that the cortisol is going up and melatonin is going down. It's tricking the body into thinking that it's daylight outside.
Yeah.
And so, unplugging things works. And also when you shield, a bird just hit the window.
Oh no.
When you shield a room, you have all the electric fields are essentially trapped in the wall. And so when you plug something in a shielded room, you're bringing in the electric fields back into the room. So what I've done is on my website, I have this link to these little plugs you can get on Amazon. And it's just got a little key fob that comes with it. And you can get like 3, 4, 5, 6 different little plugs that you can use. So if you have a lamp that you want to plug in and you don't want to keep unplugging it, You just plug it into this little device, and then it has a wireless signal, but it only emits when you press the button. So just one time, it'll turn that lamp cord off, the power to the whole cord, so you don't have to keep unplugging and plugging it back in when you're in a shielded room. And so you could even use the same thing, instead of unplugging in a non-shielded room. It's just not going to have as much of a effect. I usually save that for people that have a shielded room, because they want everything to be, everything's basically perfect when you shield the walls and the ceiling. And then also there's this mesh that you can put underneath the flooring, underneath the carpet. If you want to make your bedroom absolutely perfect healing environment, then you can do that, plus the geopathic stress mats underneath the bed.
So that's a wrap. Thanks for joining me this week on My Child Will Thrive. I'm so passionate about giving you the tools and information you need to help your child recover. And as they say, it takes a village, so join us in the My Child Will Thrive Village Facebook group, where you can meet like-minded parents and stay up to date on everything we have going on at My Child Will Thrive. This is Tara Hunkin, and I'll catch you on the next podcast or over at mychildwillthrive.com.